Hey, welcome back to Detective Story. I'm Mike Hammond. Appreciate you joining in. I just thought I'd do a little quick um, video here that's got no talk of murders and violence in it, just a little conversation about the studio. I do this occasionally when things change up, and I do find it interesting to hear about the equipment people use. This has been a trial and error for me. I'm not a tech guy, so I really had to kind of figure this out as I go along. I've gotten some breaks and gotten some people to donate some pretty cool stuff for me. First to the studio, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I wanted to have a very Chicago kind of theme to start with, and so I've got the print of the great Green Mill Cocktail Lounge, one of the great last old school jazz places left in the city. Yeah, it supposedly was owned by Al Capone at one point. They used that as a selling point. Is that a selling point? You know what I mean? I don't know. Then he owned a lot of in this city. Who the hell knows? But it's a great it's a great joint. And my buddy Big Al was the doorman there for years. Hell of a good man. Above me is the Chicago flag, which is actually just a piece of folk art put together and painted by my buddy Brian Liturgy. Did a great job with that. I like that a lot. My old fedora above it, hanging above it, up here above the Green Mill print is you can't really see it in this frame, but it is the picture of my grandfather and his entry into the U.S. Air Force. That's like an official photo. It's pretty cool, pretty old. Would have been from about 1943 ish, probably is my guess. So my buddies here with the Irving Park Barber Shop, love those guys. Old school barbers, younger guys, but old school barbers. Reminds me of the barber shop I went to as a kid in Clinton, Indiana. Except uh, these guys get me in and out of there pretty quick. Tony Costello's barber shop in Clinton, Indiana. It was quite an experience. A young man going in there because it took him 10 minutes to cut your hair, but never got out of there in under 2 hours. But good memories of that from when I was a youngster, other than getting my ear cut a few times. But then I've got some real original artwork here from my buddy Drew D. Maria over my left shoulder. These three pieces here, which I don't really have displayed that well, but they're really cool abstract pieces. And those are for sale. Drew would be happy to sell them. I'm sure they're abstract stuff that has this kind of darkness and violence to it that speaks to me. I thought it was appropriate for the show. Although, obviously I try and make this about victims and the victims' families, but there's no getting around all this bad stuff. I have my original copy here of In Cold Blood, Truman Capote's book. That this one, I don't even admit from that. It's not stolen from a library. I'll just say that. But that's my original copy that I read as a book assignment when I was in high school. And it kind of set me on a path to where I sit now in front of you. And as far as equipment, the guys down in West Texas, my friends down in West Texas, who I've given credit to, um, donated this great MacBook laptop that I record on. I record through the Riverside app, our Riverside website, which just makes it easy for me as a beginner. I have a Sony ZV-E10 camera that I use as just the for the talking head shots here with just the kit lens. Does a fine job, very simple for me. I'm going to start recording some video out in the street with it, so we'll see how that goes. Also recently got donated to me this Rodecaster Duo interface, which is a piece of just artwork and really has improved, made my workflow a lot easier here. I don't do a lot of editing myself, just very little audio stuff. I have my editors, Kira in New Jersey, who does a lot of my audio stuff, does a great job. Young woman who really came on. It really is almost volunteer work. I basically pay her expenses, and she does a great job for me. I've got my friend Andy Miles here, does a little bit more of the video editing. It's just above my skill set, and I'm just trying to learn it, but uh, it just turned out not to be the best use of my time. So I'm not a real technical guy myself. When I record, I use these Me's earbuds to listen to, because I don't really like wearing headphones when I'm recording, doing interviews. I also obviously rarely wear a hat, and I'm usually dressed a little more formal for my daughter's approval. So, I want to present myself well when I'm interviewing people. I have, victims' families on here. Obviously, it's a lot more informal this evening. I do the guys at B&H Photo, who I in New York, who I highly recommend. Great service. I got this Rodecaster Duo from them, and in doing so, Rode had a promotion going on where I got a free set of these Rode headphones. I've tried a lot of headphones. I've got some friends who are real studio sound people, mostly music, and so I have some good headphones. But this set is really comfortable. They've got this gel kind of thing. I don't know how well you can see that there, if it'll focus in, but it's odd shaped a little bit. I think it's going to work for you. It's not, but for me, it's very comfortable. And I do that when I'm doing kind of my critical listening after I record. So, I can tell when I say too much, which I just do. That's the life. Microphones are an interesting thing. I have had a bunch of different microphones in here. I started out with some Rode Pod mics, which were good. They're really good mics. I have a SM57, Shure SM57, a Shure SM58. I just kept playing with it because I didn't quite like how my voice sounded, and that's just, I have kind of a monotone voice, and I have to be careful not to speak too lowly. It's always been an issue unless I'm using my police voice. But as I'm sitting here now, I've got this really inexpensive little Zoom ZDM1 that, but it's a, it's got a really big frame set to it, and obviously I'm not a technical guy. I just like the way my voice sounds, a little fuller and a little deeper with it. It makes it a little clearer. So I use that a lot. I've got two Elgato kind of boom arms that my mic sits on. This one's a low rise one, and I like it because it kind of stays out of the way. Again, you can't really see it in this set, but here I can adjust it. There, kind of goes up and down. This one's low. And I have another Elgato. I like Elgato stuff. It's really well made, and it's not very expensive. And I have a more typical boom arm that comes over the top, and I like it too. This one just folds up on the desk, makes it a little cleaner. So that's kind of what I'm using now. Probably next upgrade is going to be lens for the camera as I start doing more video YouTube stuff on the street. But and then at some point I'll probably upgrade this mic and try out the SM7B or one of the little more sophisticated mics that aren't too crazy. I also do have above me, which I can switch to here. Yeah, so now you're hearing me on the this is the Audio Technica AT897 shotgun mic, and you'll notice there's a little more noise with that. That's a big like boom mic like they use in film. This allows me to have nothing in front of me and I can talk, and with a bigger frame picture, makes it a lot easier. It just does pick up more background noise. It's a little bit tinier. I do have this room soundproof, but I think you'll notice that when I switch back to the now I switch back to the Zoom mic, it's a lot warmer, a lot closer in, which is why I end up using it a lot more right now. So that's it really. I upload my audio podcast onto Buzzsprout, which is a good website, very easy to use. I mean, again, I'm not real tech savvy, so I'm figuring this out. I do have a big light above me here that is like my key light, and then some kind of blue RGB lights back just to give the backdrop some separation. All of this stuff I basically was taught by either, you know, people on YouTube, podcasts saying, "Hey, how you set up studio, whatever," or friends telling me, especially when we're talking about like the soundproofing I've got in here, to take the echo out of the room a little bit, and that is it. What you'll always see with me is notes. I'm always have, you don't see it on screen much, but I'm a note guy. I have pages and pages of this. This is how I did investigations, and it's how I do this record for this show. And when I'm interviewing, I have guests on occasionally, and I'll take notes on, their story, and have questions ready for that. If I'm going to be on somebody else's show, which I've done a bunch of times, I'm fortunate I get asked to be a guest on a lot of other podcasts, which is a nice thing. I don't do every one because, I mean, it just really depends on how well fit I think I'll be. I mean, how much value I'll bring to what they're doing. But it's a cool thing. It's a good experience for me. And with that, I like to, have good notes about who I'm talking to, what their podcast is about, so that making sure, that I'm keying into what their listeners want to hear. And I believe that's about it, really. That is about the setup I've got going on here. It's comfortable. It is very small. Not quite touching both walls, but very nearly. And I can touch this wall behind me, but that also makes it a little easier to kill the echo in the room. And this is also my son's bedroom, my second bedroom when he's with me. So leaving the bed in here did two good things. Gives him a place to stay when he's here, and it also absorbs some of that echo and sound as well. So that's what I got. It's pretty good, pretty nice little setup. I didn't come out this way. I've kind of built it up. I got some big breaks with the guys getting me the MacBook, the another friend donating the Rodecaster Duo interface, which is so far beyond my means, but boy, it's really cool to use. I didn't understand what like the quietness of amplifiers and low noise floor and all that stuff until I started using this thing. Before it, I was using a little Zoom interface, and it was nice. I thought it recorded pretty well to start with. There's no problems with it, but it was about the fifth of the cost of this thing, and it's certainly so far been worth the money. It's an amazing piece of equipment, and just like that, I can switch microphones, as you can tell here, to the boom mic. Switch back here to the pod mic here, or to the Zoom mic, to get that little cleaner, fuller sound. There's just a lot of cool things that this thing can do, and I'm not even getting to a little percentage of what this thing is capable of, but it's a nice thing to have to be able to grow into. Same thing with the camera. I mean, for videographers and real photographers, the Sony ZV-E10 is a real beginner's camera, but among those beginner cameras, small frame camera, but it's real easy to use, and it has access to that whole line of E-mount lenses. I only have the kit lens on it right now, but as I start to do kind of more of these videos where I'm going to be out in the street talking to people and trying to work on some of these open murders, or look at them anyway, work on It's Too Strong. I'm retired, but all I really have to do is upgrade the lens. I have a little mic that goes on top, which is just right now I've got it on this little handheld thing for the phone, and this it's got these little crazy dead cats for wind noise, but it's just a little deity mic, as you can see, which will go on top of the camera. Very inexpensive, but it does give a lot better sound than the mic built into the Sony. So that's pretty cool. Again, it's pretty beginner stuff, but advanced stuff would be wasted on me anyway at this point. I don't have the budget for it, and it works great. It really does. It's easy to use. So, other than that, I think that's where I'm at. So that's it. That's all I had. Just wanted to chat and talk about something other than violence, and give you a little glimpse, and tell you I had somebody actually reach out to me and say, hey, I'm starting a podcast, and what do you recommend? And I was telling them about equipment, and basically my advice is, like, YouTube is like got everything you need. I think you could buy a 1970 GMC pickup truck and tear it apart and rebuild it on YouTube videos. It's just amazing what's out there. And I have taught myself a lot of, all of this from just watching endless YouTube videos. And I appreciate the people out there. I should have some of these guys noted, because I've watched so many of their videos just to help me along. But so that's all I got. Hope you have a great day. I have got coming up, I've got a really good next podcast coming out, is an interview I did with Andrew Iden and Dan Simitovich, who are part of a group called Cold Open Media. They've got a podcast now they've started called Deviant. They're starting with this serial killer who killed himself up in Alaska in jail, Israel Keys. And they're looking into that to try and determine how many people he may have been involved in, with, how many murders he may have been involved with. Two interesting, very experienced guys. That was a really cool conversation with them. So, that's it. I promise no talk about violence in there. I went a little bit, but that's just next episode coming out. It'll be, early next week. That'll be out. Today is Friday. By this time of night, it's Friday, July 12th. 2 days. Happy birthday, belated birthday to my dad, July 10th. Going strong, doing well. So that's all I got. Hope you're well. If you have any questions, comments, anything you'd like to hear, anything you'd like to hear me stop talking about, besides just going to happen for now anyway. Shoot me an email. It's just mike@detectivestory.net. So that's it. Have a great night. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.